so I'll go ahead and start collecting. Actually, you can keep them because then you'll mark off if you got them answered for you. So before we get started, on each of in front of you, you have a little bag, a little goodie bag, has some things for you. Then in front of you, you have some things that are specific to Vail. You'll have our school schedule that's on here. If you know the grade level, you can see the lunch time that you're allotted for each per grade level. They are staggered. Our lunches are pretty large, and so we cannot have them concurrently by any means. You'll have a copy of the layout of our map. Then you'll have, which we'll talk about later today, your mentor or buddy list. And in a little bit, we'll talk about as well our learning dates for Red Wagon. And then we'll talk a little bit about as well some instructional support on the last page. So we'll look at those throughout today. So let's go ahead and move on. All right, so here at Vail, we do have specific missions and visions for our campus. So specific to Vail is what's in red and in blue. The others, core beliefs, things, is what the district also as a whole utilizes. So here at Vail, our mission is to empower students academically, socially, and emotionally. Our vision for Northside is every day, every student will grow in confidence, curiosity, and capability. The top three again are district's core beliefs, but specific to Vail is what's in blue. Staff members will model the expected behaviors for students to become better learners and citizens. Staff members will encourage students to think, problem solve, and develop grit through perseverance and mental toughness. You'll see this around the school. Students also have one for themselves that you'll see around the school and in the class as well.
Is that something that we can get a copy of?
Yeah. I believe everybody will get it the first week back.
Thank you.
Yes, and so that is something that we have for our classrooms as well. All right. Okay, so I will have one more quick write. So knowing our mission and vision, what is something that resonates with you? And then how do you feel that you incorporate our mission and vision into your classroom? So I will move it back to the core beliefs. What is something that resonates with you? Is our first one. And then the second question was, how do you see yourself incorporating our mission and vision into your classroom? volunteer for out of the 2 questions and then the 3 statements? Does anything resonate with anybody that they're willing to share out? Or how is it different from your other campuses that you've been on, or?
We did the Teach Like a Champion strategies at Harmony, so, it really, hones in on like, not only just building them academically, but in order to do that, you have to show them, social ways and emotional ways, after COVID, they all changed, they became awkward with one another.
Yeah.
So, and having those procedures in place, and just modeling, demonstrating, how to be explicit in how to, with tough situations, but overall, it aligns with what we did over at Harmony as well, so.
Good.
Meaningful relationships and making sure that every student learns, no matter if they're in special ed or ALE or wherever I end up helping out at times. Just try to get to know them, because when you can find their strengths and you can build upon that, you can get further.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I will say here at Vail, building relationships with students is probably one of the most important things that you will do. You will have better luck with academic performance, behavior, when you build those solid relationships with them. Our kids here, we have a lot of a mixture of diversity, culture, backgrounds, and sometimes a lot of our students are dealing with things at home that we don't know about, or you won't know just by looking at them, and so building those relationships, getting to know them, making them feel, like they matter, is really gonna help you be successful here. All right, so before we do our scavenger hunt, we'll go ahead and just go into what is Red Wagon. So in Northside, our either first year teacher mentor program or our first new to Northside, even new to Vail sometimes, all of our teachers get support with a mentor or a buddy, depending on their background. So I said even new to Vail because last year we had teachers who came from elementary, still in Northside, but they moved up to the middle school level, and it is different practices and procedures. So that's something that we also offer for support. So the purpose of Red Wagon is to support our new teachers, whether it's instructional or support systems, parental or disciplinary support, resources, managerial support, as well as emotional support. So Red Wagon, we meet once a month, and we go over various things. I gave you a piece of paper that has all of these dates on them as well. Each of our meetings, we talk about something different. So as you notice, we have them, it will be the last Wednesday of every morning of the month, so it'll be before school, in the library classroom, which is right next door. So if we're in the hall and we're walking, there's a classroom door on the outside, and they'll be in there every, in the mornings. I usually try to give some type of professional development with it, so you'll earn your teacher choice hours as well. For you guys, it is an expectation on our campus. I do reach out to mentors and buddies and ask, please try to attend, just to offer that support, but I will give them notices on which ones for them it is mandatory. So it just depends. But I usually also have guest speakers, so it's not just myself talking the entire time or just these overviews. So like in September, I will try to have somebody come from CMS, which is another learning management system that we here use. And I may actually try for August, see if I can change the date. But she will go over how to build an assessment in CMS because that's what Vail uses. So every core content, or really every content here will have to give their assessments through what's called CMS. It helps us just collect the data, kind of assess it as a campus as a whole, and so everybody has the same across the board. Even for our students that have accommodations, if they have a paper copy requirement, the teacher will give them a paper copy, they'll do it, they'll work the test out, but then the teacher will input it, their data, and their questions or something into that system if that's something that is utilized for them. So for instance, August, September, I'll have the woman come who is in charge of CMS, Lorinda Rios, and she'll go over how to do assessments, how to take data from that, because that's really important for our PLC group as well, because you can gather so much data from that. In addition, CMS is, the embedded supports are the same as STAR. So that's another reason that we utilize CMS, so our students who get text-to-speech, who get anything really embedded, supports go into those tests. So September, I'll have someone from MTSS or RTI come in to help show you how to input that into our systems. October and February, we all know, are very difficult months. They come with hurdles just because you don't have breaks in those months. So everybody is, itching for those breaks. So October, I usually have PBIS come. They kind of help. I don't know if you're familiar with what PBIS is, Positive Behavioral Intervention Support Campus. And so those team of people will come in and they'll kind of give resources and support on how to have different types of intervention inside their classroom. So I'll have different guest speakers throughout the entire year. I usually always try to provide some type of food or snack. Okay, I am that person saying, hey, I brought donuts today or tacos or something. So if you have any allergies, please let me know, because I won't, know until I know. And I also sometimes will bring fruit and it's like, I'm allergic to, cantaloupe. Okay, so I won't ever bring any of that type of stuff. So, or peanuts, there are a lot of teachers, there are quite a few teachers that have sensitivity. On also the paper that you have, that has a list of your buddies and mentor. So the difference between a buddy and a mentor for Miss Erin, Miss Wilson, she, don't correct me if I'm wrong, first year teacher? First year teacher. So mentor has a little bit different of a role than a buddy. So for you, you have your mentor, she's great, but it's a little bit different than the buddy. So the rest will just have a resource that they'll reach out by text, they'll reach out by something, whereas your mentor may have, hey, you come down and sit with me and I'll help you with whatever resource you need or whatever, whether it's laying out lesson plans, because Vail will be specific to also lesson plans, Vail will be specific to how we run things. And so if that's, hey, I need some help doing this, okay, come sit down with me. It's a little bit different, whereas a buddy, the expectations, hey, make sure you're just checking in. Like, they, since it's not their first year, some of them are just coming from other districts. So after today, I will email out you and your buddy along with the admin team stating, hi, just a reminder, who I am, and then that these are your buddies, and I will provide the list to the buddy mentor as well. So I have not as of yet. I'm gonna kind of let them reach out to you, and then I will get some numbers together and then put them on a document. I'll probably have a live document, and then just everybody can share their stuff on there for you and for them.
Now, are these the dates or are those the dates?
I'm sorry, these are the dates on here. I built this after, because, well, the only date that should be, let me rephrase, yes, these are the correct ones.
Okay.
Yes, so I will change those. Those were my originals, and then,
Just making sure.
no, we had to shift because we are now going to different type of testing. We're doing now what's called MAP testing. And so my original date, which was on the 28th of August, we're giving MAP testing on that date. And so I was like, oh, I can't do that one. So then I had to switch it to the 21st. So, yes, but these paper ones are the correct ones. Yes. Alright, so you will have a workbook, a first year teacher workbook or new teacher workbook, but those are being hand-delivered by the coordinator, and so she's gonna deliver them just before, hopefully, the first day of school, so hopefully y'all will receive those. But, I haven't gotten them yet. I may ask you to bring them sometimes, but most of the time, if I want something out of it, I'll make a copy and then bring them. But unless it's something that I want you to specifically write in or highlight, or we're reading this passage, then you can just, I'll put it in there. I always put in my email, I'll send out the QR code or the session ID for you to register, and then any directions if you need to bring anything. I really also like it to be, like around the Christmas time, if anything around the holidays, like I'm a theme person, so I'll kind of have, you know, little themes, for those, dates. All right, do we have any questions about Red Wagon? Okay.
I worked at Allison Elementary for 6 years.
Yeah.
I never grew up Red Wagon alums.
No?
No, I make the announcement, Red Wagon, they're meeting in the library, but it never registered.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's a first year teacher or mentoring program. So you're going from elementary to middle, right?
Well, I
Elsa?
worked in the office, and I did attendance,
Yeah.
so.
Are you just wanted something new or just? Yeah, I love it.
It was time.
It was time. I love it. I love it. Our TSS2 was at Thomason, another elementary, and so coming to a middle school campus, and so like our librarian did too. So our librarian was in
really?
y'all's spot. So she was at, oh my gosh, I don't know where she was at. She was at elementary before. And then last year was her first year at the middle school, and I was checking to be like, so how's it going? You know, like it's so, you know, I've heard it's very different. I've never been in an elementary campus, you know, but you'll hear skibbity toilet, like you'll hear things that's like, okay, and then I have to go and Google it, you know, right? And so at the elementary level, it may not be as, you know, like last year I had someone come up and say, Ms. Carmichael, yo, you ate and you left no crumbs, and I'm like,
I did what?
I don't know what that means, and they're like, oh, no, it's Disney, and I'm like, okay, so I went to go Google it, and it's basically like my outfit was good, and I left no room for anybody to have a better, I guess, fit. That's basically what that meant.
So it was a compliment.
It was a compliment, but you'll hear things, and I'm like, man, do you hear that at elementary, or, you know, or is it still all like, I'll have people tell me, well, you don't have boogers in the throw up, and I'm like, oh, there's still boogers, there's still throw up in middle school, it's just different, it's just a different, you know, last year was the first year that I worked, ever, lunch duty. In this position, I'll have one lunch duty spot, and, here at Vail, it's away for the day with technology, so there's no technology from start to finish. And so, even that's including lunch, hallways, everything, there's none. And so, in the cafeteria at lunchtime, man, the first time I was like, they're hilarious, right? I had 8th grade. And so some of them are already, you know, 14, and they're still like, they're kids. Like you hear the conversations or their mannerisms, and they're in the classroom environment. Again, I taught math, and so it's so different. It's just very different. And then when I see them with their friends, they're like speaking in cat, or like they're like barking at each other, or they're playing chess, or playing like cards, other things. And I'm like, man, you're still a little kid. Like you're barking, and you're 14. Like that's like a language.
Boys and their 6th and 8th grade are going into that, and they're just little boys.
It is, and it's very, because you know they try to be so adult-like.
But
They're not, and it's seeing them in that environment. I remember the first day I was like, what is happening? Like, because it was so different in the classroom than in the cafeteria where they have, you know, free reign to do things. I'm like, man, they are. All right, so again, why? I have a lot of people say like, why is it called Red Wagon? So some days we skip along, pulling our own wagon with great confidence, so full of energy that the load seems light. Some days the load seems heavy and we need someone to help us pull our wagons over the bumps in the road. Some days we're just tired. We sit in our wagons, and let someone else pull us along for a while. And some days, it's kind of nice to share our little red wagon with a friend. As you think about yesterday and make plans for tomorrow, keep in mind that there will be times you can call help, you can help pull someone else's little red wagon for a while. After all, helping to pull each other's little red wagon is what makes it possible to face the challenges the day brings. Yeah, I mean, teaching is definitely different than it was, you know, I'm sure many of you know since when you first started, very different. So it's always nice to have, you know, that person to share support and to lean on and to listen. And that's another, for our meetings when we come, and I'll just like, hey, anybody have any glows? Anybody have any grows? Kind of just, it's a free, safe space that everybody is kind of in the same, y'all are, whether it's their first year or somebody who's been teaching longer, y'all are all new here, and so it will be a new experience for that.
I'm sorry.
No.
Do our buddies, are they teaching the same content or the same grade level, or just?
It just depends, some yes and some no. No. Like, Drayton, your buddy, she teaches theater. And so, it just really depends on, but like Miss Hernandez, your buddy, is an ELA teacher. Miss Wilson, yours is Miss Tovar, she's a math teacher, but she's great. 6th grade, she's been teaching, a long time, and she's great. Miss Science, yours is, Miss Del Santos, she's science.
Michael Sillis.
He teaches science. He's great too, though. He's been teaching a long time. And him and Ms. Del Santos are actually like partners in science, because it's mostly 2 teachers per grade level. Our campus has significantly shrunk.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Yeah, I met
Yeah.
him. Okay.
So the dynamic is really cool to watch, because
Yeah.
he is very cool to have with that. So yeah, it just depends on it just depends on, he wears black every day. So just know, like, he's always in black, and the kids, so we had these blue lanyards that had like Northside ISD, like the one Miss Rayberg's wearing, and so he bought one on Etsy specific that was black. So it still says Northside ISD, but it's black because he won't refuse to wear anything. Yes. All right, well, I think that's it for Red Wagon. Okay, do y'all want a break, or do you want to power through maybe consent early? Okay. All right, so in Northside, we do have what's called NEF, which is the Northside Educational Foundation, and it is a teacher grant. I highly recommend applying because they give various grant sizes for various things. We did have someone last year that won one, and so it just also depends on what it is, I guess, the increment amount. But HUB, like a little buddy, will come. It's super cute. Let's see. So let's look at the All right, so our eligibility for our NEF. Okay, so those that are eligible for the grant, you must be a first-year teacher, new to the teaching profession, having Texas teacher certification or enrolled in a teacher certification program, and you're currently contracted by Northside as a full-time teacher. So that's everybody here qualifies for that. So So it is awarded by scores and application. Scores from, I guess, on their rubric, which I'll pull up in a minute. And the deadline to apply is on the 29th of August, so that is coming up. Let me get the next one. All right, so Northside Gifted and Talented. Elementary is a little bit different than middle school. So elementary, they use different ways. I think they have pull-out methods, as well as specific content for grade level for teacher. So they'll have one GT teacher for second or third grade, fourth grade, you know, for that. Middle school is not like that. It's for an elective. So it's called Innovative Thinkers in Northside. And so it is an elective for secondary. But if they take it 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, they do get a high school credit at the end. Our speakers are broken, so I do apologize, or at least here they're broken. So I'm gonna do the best to have it as loud
Welcome to Northside Gifted and
as I
Talented.
can.
The goal of this presentation is to help you become acquainted with Northside's GT program and services. We hope you will find the content of this presentation useful as you get to know your students this year. BEA has created the Texas State Plan for the Education of Gifted and Talented Students. This document guides our program and service design, and we will refer to it throughout our presentation. When it comes to defining gifted and talented, we follow the state plan definition. A gifted and talented student means a child or youth who performs at or shows the potential for performing at a remarkably high level of accomplishment when compared to others of the same age, experience, or environment, and who exhibits high performance capability in an intellectual, creative, or artistic area, possesses an unusual capacity for leadership, or excels in a specific academic field. Northside strives to provide innovative, high quality, and diverse learning experiences for all of our students in this ever-changing world. In support of that mission, our GT program aims to provide instructional opportunities that are designed to meet the unique needs of students who have significantly advanced general ability. Our programs seek to provide an appropriately differentiated curriculum in efforts to help students work to their fullest potential. GT services may include a modified delivery of instruction for students through acceleration and/or complex content and activities that offer greater depth of learning. Northside offers 3 levels of programming to meet the needs of our gifted learners. In elementary school, students identified as gifted are pulled weekly to work with the campus GT specialist on a focused curriculum. Some elementary students also receive gifted services through their Math GT classroom. Math GT stands for Math and Clustering with GT Students. This program clusters high-achieving math students with GT students in the same general education classroom. Middle school students that are identified as gifted participate in year-long dedicated courses known as Innovative Thinkers 1, 2, and 3. These classes offer GT students a curriculum that challenges them to think critically, explore, create, develop, and become independent thinkers and leaders. Identified high school students have the option to participate in electives designed to meet their unique needs. These courses are designed to build student leaders and prepare students with college-ready skills. Northside's identification process begins with a referral. Anyone can refer a student for testing, a parent, teacher, librarian, community member, even the student themselves. Parents and teachers may access the referral form on the NISD Gifted and Talented website. Any previous testing data is helpful but not required. Texas state plan for the education of gifted students states that both qualitative and quantitative measures must be considered when determining whether or not a student needs GT services. In Northside, the quantitative data includes either the MAP test, a measure of academic progress in elementary, or the Iowa assessment in secondary, both of which generate a score in math and reading subject areas. They also take the cognitive abilities test, which elicits 3 scores from 3 categories: verbal, quantitative, and nonverbal. All are nationally normed standardized tests that are administered to students online. A student may be referred for testing each year. However, the COGAT test can only be administered once every 2 years. Your campus GT specialist can provide more in-depth information if you would like to know more about any of these tests. One thing to note is that our very diverse district uses campus local norms at the elementary level for placement consideration. Remember that the definition of gifted and talented includes a child or youth who performs at or shows the potential for performing at a remarkably high level of accomplishment when compared to others of the same age, experience, or environment. Local norms generated by the district administration of the COGAT allow for within-group comparisons. In other words, students are compared against other students at their respective campuses, as opposed to the whole district or even the nation. Finally, the qualitative measures include both a parent and an educator checklist. Final determination of a student's need for gifted and talented services is made by a district training and identification committee that includes at least 3 district educators who have received training in the nature and needs of gifted and talented students, and who have met and reviewed the individual student data. A balanced examination of all assessments and data collected through the district's gifted and talented assessment process is conducted and used by the identification committee in making program placement decisions. If a parent disagrees with the committee's decision regarding placement, the parent may appeal the decision. More information regarding the identification process can be found by speaking with your campus GT specialist. GT testing is ongoing through the school year. Full grade level screening with COGAT testing occurs in 2nd and 5th grades. Other elementary students have referral-based testing windows throughout the school year. Secondary referral-based testing occurs during the spring semester. For specific testing window and referral dates, please see your campus GT specialist. There is an entire section of the Texas State Plan dedicated to professional learning for teachers who work with gifted students. Northside is a member of the Region 20 GT Co-op, and we encourage any Northside teacher to attend GT professional learning courses. When you register for Region 20 courses using your Northside email address, these classes are free. Simply visit the Region 20 Connect website to find out more, or see your campus GT specialist. Texas requires 30 hours of GT professional learning for teachers who provide instruction and services that are part of the district's defined gifted and talented services. 6 hours must cover the nature and needs of gifted learners, and another 6 comes from learning about the identification and assessment of GT students. The remaining 18 hours cover curriculum and instruction of GT students, which includes differentiation, depth and complexity, and creativity. Once an educator has received their 30 hours, a 6-hour update is all that is required yearly. As previously stated, professional learning opportunities are available through Region 20 and NISD. In Northside, all campus GT specialists are required to complete specific 30-hour training. In addition, elementary teachers who teach Math GT, our elementary clustering model, are also required to get their hours, including math leaders at these campuses. In middle school, all teachers assigned to the magnet schools must complete their GT hours. At the high school level, core subject teachers who teach advanced, honors, full credit, on-ramps, or advanced placement courses are also required to complete these hours. This training helps teachers to better meet the needs of gifted learners. Your campus GT specialist is an invaluable resource for you. They are your partner in educating advanced learners. If you have questions about GT students, the GT identification process, GT testing, or courses for gifted students, please reach out to your campus GT specialist. There is one at every campus, and they are there to help staff with all things GT. Thank you, and welcome to Northside.
At least in Northside, a lot of your training that you go to will have it incorporated. So I know some of the engagement, trainings that you did, I know for when I was math, like had to go to math trainings, it would be a 6-hour credit, 3 hours for teacher choice, 3 hours for GT. So sometimes it is embedded in that. All right, let's see. All right, why don't we take a 5-minute break and then we will do our scavenger hunt. Take a break. For bathrooms, if you go out, into the right, the front office is right here, you can go there, or there's some right by the cafeteria, which is like a little fishbowl area. The teacher's lounge, is through the front office and is on the right.
I wonder if the code guys are,
Oh, maybe.
I doubt it.
Did you teach in Port Isabel?
No, my mom did,
Oh,
for 30 years, but I got hired first in Brownsville.
okay.
In Highest Harmony,
Uh-huh.
I don't qualify for that, right? Because I was looking for 16 years.
Qualified for what?
For the new teacher, grant.
Fresh people never taught.
Right, okay.
I'll double check on that.
Next, I heard the superintendent this morning, he was also mentioning it. I was like, oh, and I'm like, oh.
I'll double check. I'll
Okay,
double check on
alright,
it for
thank
sure.
you.
Yes.